Welcome back, Champlain College, Serious and Silly. I'm Scott, this is Sheila. And today, Sheila, we have a very, very special guest. As we're all aware, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And today's guest received her diagnosis back in 2013 at the age of 24. And since then, she's been inspiring and empowering young women and cancer patients in general through her TED Talk, her blog, her YouTube page. She's written two wonderful books, one entitled Chemo Secrets, the other The Diary of Nalie, which are both available on Amazon. She is just such an inspiration. I'm so happy that she can join us and share her story with us. Nalie Agustin, welcome to Champlain College. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for that beautiful intro, and thanks for having me.
Oh, so we actually just want to first start off asking about like your journey and why was it important for you to share your story and your blog with the community and the world?
Well, it started in 2013, right? And I was only 24. So I was just coming out of university, and you can just imagine, like, when you hear about breast cancer, you don't think that it's going to happen to you in your prime years. 24 years old, I felt completely alone and isolated, and I felt like there were no resources for younger women. And that's why initially I began sharing through a blog called Nalie.ca. And at the time, Instagram and Facebook was okay, but like it was really about the blogs and writing and video, having a YouTube channel. So I turned to that initially. And to be honest, I started blogging and sharing my story so that I could really update my family on my, also not just my treatments and diagnosis, but my thoughts in my head, because it was so hard to explain and also really exhausting to repeat myself. So my blog was really just initially for me, but upon sharing it publicly, it took off like crazy, because that's when I realized I am not the only 20-something-year-old diagnosed with breast cancer. There are many out there, and they also felt alone. So it kind of created this younger community of people with cancer. But then as I was sharing, people without cancer, of all kinds of adversity, of all kinds of struggles, which is something, I think one thing I learned the most in sharing my journey is everyone has a story, everyone has their struggles, and they seem to relate to me and my words. And that really brought purpose to my crazy journey, and that's my reason behind sharing since the start. And that was like 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. Hundreds of thousands of people have viewed your page, and you know, this at the time, like you said, I think I read that you kind of started it just to kind of get it off your chest.
Absolutely. It was very therapeutic to me to release it all and have it out there. It's like as soon as you feel it, you don't want it stuck within you, and writing and sharing was a way to, it was very cathartic to me.
So when I read your story, Nalie, one of the things that really, really impressed me amongst the millions of things that have impressed me, really, if you get a chance, go to Nalie.ca. It's such a wonderful webpage for, like you said, people who are either struggling or who know someone who are struggling. But one of the things that impressed me the most is when I read about your thriver mentality. You said, I'm not just surviving cancer, I'm thriving with cancer. And I thought that was just so inspirational. When did that come about, and how did that come about?
Well, I realized that I was doing a lot more than just surviving through it. And I think a lot of us are doing a lot more than just, well, some of us are doing a lot more than just surviving through life, right? And for me, thriving means to grow, to prosper, to learn, to really listen to yourself, to go within. And for me, I felt like the word, well, for one, words are so powerful and important in the way you use to describe yourself and your story. And a lot of people use the word like, cancer sufferer. That's like you're telling yourself you're suffering right there and then, which is not a good thing to say, even though at times you do kind of suffer and go through pain. But I couldn't relate to that. And then survivor felt a little passive. And thriving to me was the extra effort and oomph that I put into life and this journey where I was conscious that I wanted to go through this, not just learning, but also giving back. And I think that's what Thrivers do. They go through the journey, they learn the lessons, and then they share them along the way.
I saw the video that is on your page, and it's the one that you have day one, and it's when you're driving in the car.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you had just left the hospital and then received the information. But just from that, like 10-second intro, you feel that energy, like that thriver mentality, and that like positive, like I'm going to fight this and I got this. It's very inspirational. So I don't know if it was because of the diagnosis, or you have always had that type of character. But if you can just explain a little bit about that part.
Yeah, that video was actually a video that I recorded right after receiving the call, because I had to go through a bunch of tests, a bunch of biopsies, and then the pathology report came in, and then I had asked, like, I just want to know right away. So they had called me while I was at work, and I was obviously very traumatized. And so my family was awaiting the news too. So I had told them, and we were all on our way to my brother's condo to gather and discuss like the next steps. That's when I decided, like, I couldn't even hold it in at that point. You know what I mean? Like I needed to share. And I think that's why I pulled out my phone and I just started recording with no intention, really just to kind of let it out. And I think it was almost like a vow to myself to share that I was going to do whatever it took to beat this and to be here and to thrive. And I think to answer your question, I guess I have always been that way. In that sense, I've always been a bit of a go-getter, and I get that from my parents and my brothers. I'm the only girl in the siblings, so my whole life I grew up trying to keep up with the big bros. So I guess to answer your question, yeah, I did have a little bit of extra determination and resilience in life, but oh, have I grown since that first video, because I don't even recognize myself. I have a hard time watching that video. Brought me back, like even my voice, the way I speak. I'm like, wow, little Nalie. That was almost a decade ago.
I wanted to kind of ask you, cancer affects almost everybody, honestly. If it's on a personal, if you're not going through it, somebody in your family will be going through it, friends of family, everything. So I wanted to kind of ask you, like, why is it important for people to communicate and have like open discussions? Cancer is such a, can't talk about it or else it's going to like come true. Like nobody wants to have that discussion, but I think it's a very important conversation. So like, why is it important for you to have these open dialogues with your friends and your family?
I think like with anything that anyone's going through, it's everyone's story and everyone's diagnosis, everyone's struggle is so different. So if you're not open about it, you often feel isolated and alone. And for diagnosis in particular, the reason I share is, like I mentioned, I learned so much, and there's so much that has helped me. It's almost selfish for me not to share, because there's just so much that could help others who feel like they don't have any options. They don't have any support. And that's really like one of the biggest feedback that I get from simply just sharing my personal journey is like, people are like, oh, I'm getting so many resources, and not even just resources, but so much joy and love from your posts that like it comes. So being able to share that and comfort others has been really, really, really gratifying. But I also just think it's important for others to share their stories, because cancer is not black and white, and that's a big, big myth. Like, oh, you're diagnosed with cancer, immediately cancer equals death, and immediately cancer equals like really like terminal disease. And it is a scary journey, but there's so many stories out there, and I like to the positive ones. And I feel like finding those positive ones and finding those miracle stories have really personally helped me. So whatever helps me, they say you have to be the person you've always needed. You have to be the person you always needed in your life.
Mm.
I feel like that's why it's important to share, so that you could be that person you always needed to find.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great story, and definitely we can't do it justice in the next 10 minutes, in the last 10 minutes. Go to nalie.ca. So much great stuff there. Like I said, you've written the two wonderful books, Chemo Secrets and The Diary of Nalie, that are available on Amazon. You've done so much, but I have to ask you, what's next? You know, I feel like your journey is just beginning, as you said.
That's really sweet. I don't know how much you all know my journey, but unfortunately, I'm still undergoing treatment.
Mhm.
When I was diagnosed in 2013, it was a stage 2 early diagnosis. And at the moment, I'm facing a stage 4 metastatic breast cancer diagnosis, which has unfortunately metastasized. And metastasized means spread from one location, so the breast, to another. And unfortunately for me, after 8 years, it has now spread to the lungs, liver, and brain, which is not easy because you're balancing now. It's like spinning 3 plates.
Mhm.
So I've been undergoing radiation to the brain. I've been doing chemo. My last chemo was only on Friday. So
Wow.
I'm currently in the midst of it. And I think that's exactly what my book, The Diary of Nalie, is about, because all this happened during the global pandemic. So on top of the treatments, it was COVID. And so the book is about that. It's about the unknown, the uncertainty, how to navigate that type of journey. And I think the whole world can relate to it right now.
Mhm.
Everyone's facing that type of uncertainty at the moment. So when you ask me what are my plan is to heal,
Mhm.
to take care of myself,
Mhm.
and to share along the way, to continue to share. It's what I've always done. So hopefully there will be a volume 2 of The Diary of Nalie, the next chapter, the next phase, and hopefully it'll have a happy ending.
For sure. You actually, in your webpage, it says, I believe it's from your own words. It says you can't control what happens to you, but you can choose how to react to it.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you're having all of these adversities that you're going through, and you're still choosing to react in the positive way that you can keep affecting other individuals and giving them hope and strength, I think that's just like a testament to the kind of person that you are. And for sure, a lot of people are watching and listening to your words. So thank you just so much for being that type of person that somebody can look upon and get that support. There's not a lot of people out there that have that ability. So we do really appreciate that you just took the time with us after you just mentioned that you're going through the healing process of your journey, to take the time with us today. We really do appreciate it, Nalie. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm really
Thank you
happy.
so much. Are there any kind of like words that you would like to, kind of words of wisdom for our students here at Champlain College, if they're either struggling with a personal matter or somebody that they know, or a family member that might be struggling with cancer or adversity, that you can kind of share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for one, if you're going through something, there's a lot, even if you have to dig deep, there's a lot to be grateful for. You have to find out, if you know you don't want to, whatever you're going through. For me, it's easy to say, I know I don't want to die, I'm not ready, but why do you want to live? Find your reason why you want to live. Find your reason why you want to be there for your loved one, and help them find that reason. And sometimes, for those who are accompanying someone who has someone that they love going through cancer, it's really just about being there for them, like not having to preach or to tell them advice in particular. That's another question. Everyone's like, what do I do? What do I say? Sometimes you just gotta just be there, sit next to them, and help them in ways that they can't help themselves. Me, the cooking and the cleaning and all that has always helped me. My family has helped tremendously with that. But overall, just keep going, because you really never know what can happen. And if your goal is to live, then live fully.
Beautiful, beautiful words.
Beautiful words, Nalie. And yeah, I know you're immersed in it, so I don't know if you know, but you're amazing, and what you've done for others is amazing. And I feel blessed that we got a chance to talk to you today. So thank you very much for that.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, great. So if you guys want to keep following our little web series here, you can follow us on our Champlain Saint-Lambert YouTube page, and we post on Fridays. And Nalie, where can students follow you?
I'm really active on Instagram at the moment just because it's easy and it's fast and I love the stories and it's just fun. So all my handles are the same, at Nalie Augustin, NalieAugustin.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much again, and take care. And we wish you a bunch of luck and support in your journey.
Thank you. Have a good year.
Thanks, Nalie.
Thank you. Bye.